Today I am going to discuss about the activities, organization of economic activities. See, in the previous video, we discussed about the problems, central problems of an economy. So, and also the meaning of economy. So, just I recall the meaning of economy. Economy means, or economic system, we can also call it economic system. Economic system means a system which organize organize economic activities in the country, or we can also say a system which involve the resolving of basic problems like what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. That is called economic system. We can also call it is economy of economic system. Okay, so and observe that in the real world, different countries adopted different economic systems. US adopt a economic system which is different than Indian economic system, and Japan, etc. So mainly we can see three types of economic systems in the world. There are three type of economic systems in the world. One is centrally planned economy. Centrally planned economy. Second one is market economy. And third one is mixed economy. Centrally planned economy, market economy, and mixed economy. Okay. So observe that these questions are as per 4 marks. Write a note on central planned economy, centrally planned economy, or market economy. Okay, and also mixed economy. Okay, we discuss separately. See, centrally planned economy. Observe that the centrally planned economy is also called as socialist economy. Socialist economy. Okay, it is also called socialist economy. Okay, so what are the features? What is the meaning of central planned economy? We will discuss. Okay, first heading is central planned economy. See, the central planned economy is also known as socialist economy, which or in which in this system it is mainly the major economic decisions are taken by the government. Major economic decisions are taken by the government. Okay, so in this system, resources are the resources are owned by the government, and also the government has a responsibility to distribute among different economic activities in the country. And the economic activities are organized by the government. In this system, economic activities are organized by the government. Okay, and in the central planned economy, the economic production in the country is completely under the control of government, and also the government decide the price of commodities in the country. Overall, we can say in central planned economy, it is completely under the ownership and under the control of government. Okay, so entire economic activities and entire resources are under the ownership of government. Okay, whatever the major economic decisions are taken by the government here. Even industries, agriculture, all sectors, service sector, all sectors are under the control of complete control of government here. And so it has certain demerits. See, when the industries are under the control of government, it is helpful. It is helpful to develop, or it is helpful to protect inefficient industries. Inefficient industries, because in central planned economy, the major objective of the government is to improve the welfare of peoples, to improve the welfare of peoples. So when they have ownership of industries, the industries are running or continuing the production only for their existence in the industry, not to earn profit. That means in centrally planned economy, there is no objective of earning profit. Okay, the major objective is rendering service here, rendering service to the public. That is the major objective. That's why the inefficient industries are protected here. And also, there is no chance to get, there is no chance for new technologies, that is innovations. That means the innovations are very difficult in centrally planned economy, because the innovations are made only to increase the production and also earn more maximum profit. But in government sector, that is when they have public, under the public sector, under the ownership of public sector, they are only for rendering service. They engage only for rendering service, not to earn profit. So there is very difficult, there is a difficult for innovations in central planned economy. Then come to the how the basic problems are solved in central planned economy. We already studied that there are mainly three problems: what to produce, and how to produce, and for whom to produce. Okay, these are all the basic problems. See how the basic problems are solved in central planned economy. Okay, see the basic problem, what to produce. The what to produce is solved because when the government decide to produce those commodities which will improve the welfare of people, welfare of people. Okay, they only decide to produce those commodities which will improve the welfare of peoples, not to earn profit here. Then how to produce? So the government will select a technique, either capital intensive or labor intensive technique, which will improve the welfare of people. That means which will give employment opportunities, employment, employment opportunities, which create employment opportunities in the economy. For example, when they adopt labor intensive technology, the government allow to adopt labor intensive technology which will improve or which will create employment opportunities in the economy, and also income. Okay, income of the people. Then for whom to produce? Okay, see, to the government will ensure a minimum consumption for all peoples in the economy or in a country. So it will protect or achieve social justice by providing essential goods to the poor people at subsidized price, at subsidized price, or which is lesser than market price. Okay, we'll take an example of our country, India. See, in our country, the government supply essential commodities to the poor people at low price than the market price. This system is called PDS, Public Distribution System. Okay, and the same commodity is available at market. So the major objective here to ensure a minimum or required quantities of consumption to the poor people to achieve social justice, that is equality among all peoples in the country. Okay, then the question is, in which countries we can see the central planned economy? Okay, I will give you example, just keep it in mind, which is just for 2 marks. Okay, so we can see the centrally planned economy, which is called socialist economy in Soviet Union. Okay, that is called Soviet Russia. Then China, then Cuba, and Vietnam. Okay, in these countries, China, Vietnam, Cuba, and Soviet Russia, we can see centrally planned economy. Okay, so next one is market economy. The next problem is market economy. Market economy. Okay. See, the market economy is also called as capitalist economy. Okay, capitalist economy. Market economy is also called capitalist economy. See, in the real world, we can also see a market or a economic system which is dominated by the private sector. So the central planned economy, it is completely dominated by public sector, but in market economy, it is completely dominated by private sector or private individuals. Okay, what it mean by market economy or capitalist economy? The word implies the meaning capitalist. Capitalist means investors. Okay, so market economy means a system in which the resources are completely owned and allocated by the private sector. The entire resources in the country is completely owned and organized by, owned and allocated by private sector. It is completely control of private sector. Okay. Okay. So we can also call investors or investors. Okay. So private sector, and in this economy, in this system, the resources are allocated by the government, allocated by the private sector, and the economic activities are completely controlled under the private sector. Okay, and just another point, a very important point should be noted, that it is a free enterprise system. Free enterprise. That means free enterprise system means it is a minimum government role system. There is a minimum government role in market economy. That's why it is called free enterprise system. Okay, and in market economy, the major production activities are decided by the private investors. Production activities are decided by the private investors, and also they have they have profit motto. Very important, profit. Whatever the decision taken by the private investors is behind the motto of earning maximum profit. They will not think about the welfare of people. Their only intention is to earn profit. That type of system is called market economy. And we can see how the market economy solve the basic problems. Okay, so basic problems: what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Okay, in market economy, what to produce? The problem is solved, what to produce, by the decision of private sector. Okay, the private investors decide to produce only those goods which have more demand and less supply, in the market. Okay, that means just see, observe that the demand and supply were called market forces. Demand and supply are called market forces. Okay. See, in market economy, the economy is controlled by the demand and supply. That is market forces. It's completely economy is under the control of market forces. That is demand and supply. Okay. So they decide to produce those goods which have more demand and less supply in the economy, because when the demand is more than the supply, it is helpful to earn maximum profit to them. Okay, that is first problem. And second problem is how to produce. Okay, how to produce. See, this is what to produce. Okay, so how to produce? See, the investors, that is the private investors, decide to adopt a technique which is able to produce more units at less cost of production. More units at less cost of production. Okay, for example, they will intend to produce those goods which have reduced the cost of production. Okay, because when the cost of production is less than their earning, it will helpful to get maximum profit. Okay, when the cost of production decreases, it is helpful to earn maximum profit in market economy. That's why they adopt those techniques which will able to get more units, which is helpful to produce more units at less cost of production. And third problem, for whom? For whom to produce? Okay, so in market economy, there is no intention to achieve social justice. They have only objective to earn maximum profit. So they will supply they will supply the produced commodities in the market at market price to all buyers. It is available, that commodity is available in the market at market price to all buyers. If we want that commodity, we have to pay price. Either they are rich or poor. Either they are rich or poor. They have to pay price for that commodity. Okay. So there is no work. There is no work or there is no action to protect or to promote poor peoples here. Okay. So it is available at market price to all. Market price to all peoples. Market price to all peoples in the country. Okay. And in which countries we can see the market economy, this type of system, we can see that is called USA, United Nations, then United Kingdom, that is UK, and Japan. These are examples for market economy. Just keep in mind USA, that is United States of America, UK, United Kingdom, that is England, and Japan. Okay. Then next one is the last part, that is mixed economy. Mixed mixed economy. Okay. So what do you mean by mixed economy? See, mixed, the word implies the cooperation. That is, it includes the features of both centrally planned economy and market economy. See, the mixed economic system. Observe that in the real world we are not only seeing the government control, there is government controlling countries and also the private under the private ownership controlling countries. We can see the operations of both private and government sector together in that system, in the economy, that is called mixed economy. Okay. So what it means, mixed economy? See, the mixed economy means a market system in which resources are owned and allocated by both private and government. Private and public sector. Private and public sector. It is under the control of both private and public sector. Okay. That means the resources are owned and allocated by the government and also the private sector. That is called mixed economy. Here we can see the role of both public sector and private sector. The resources are owned by government and also the private sector, and it is helpful. We can also see what is called public and private sector together they are operating together in a single industry or in a single sector. For example, in transportation sector we can see in our country, especially the best example for mixed economy is India. Okay, we can see the private sector operating industries and also the public sector operating industries. Okay, see, I will give an example for this. For education, we can see private schooling and public schooling. For transportation, we can see the public transportation and private transportation, private buses. In health sector, we can see private hospitals and government hospitals, multi-specialty hospitals in private sector. We can also see common hospitals in public sector. Okay, so it is called a mixture of central planned economy and market economy. Okay, so how the basic problems are solved in mixed economy? See, the first problem is what to produce. Okay, see, the what to produce is solved by both commodities. The government will decide to produce the goods which will improve welfare of peoples, and also the private sector decide to produce those goods which have less demand and more demand and less supply. less supply in the economy. And how to produce? The problem of how to produce is solved. Is solved in the system where the private sector select capital intensive technology because they produce more units at less cost of production, and the government sector select labor intensive technique which will create employment opportunities and also earn income to them, peoples, earn income to the peoples. Then for whom to produce? This is very, very important. For whom to produce? See, the problem of for whom to produce is solved by both commodities are supplied by the government to the poor people at low price and the same commodity is available in the market at market price. Okay, I will give an example. See, in our country, the PDS, we all heard about PDS system, public distribution system. Okay, so in our country, the government allocate, the government provide essential commodities like rice, wheat, jowar, okay, then edible oil, salt, okay. These things through the public distribution system to the poor people at required quantity, to the poor people at required quantity at subsidized price. Subsidized price means which is less than market price. Okay. For example, the price of rice is 30 rupees in the market, then the government provided rupees 2 per kg. That means which is less than market price. That is called subsidized price. Just observe, we are call it as subsidized price, not for low price. Because why we call it as subsidized price? Because the government will repay the excess amount. The government will repay or bear the excess amount here. That's why it is called subsidized price. Through the fair price shops, we can call it as in Nyaya Belangadi. Fair price shops. It's called as fair price shops. Okay. So this system. And the same commodity is available at market. Same commodity is available in market at market price to all buyers. I will give an example. See, rice. I told you the rice. The rice is available at rupees 30 per kg in market. Okay. To all peoples, and the government will supply at rupees 2 per kg. And wheat is also available in the shops at market price of 40 rupees per kg, and also the government supply at rupees 3 per kg to the poor people. Okay. And this is called mixed economy. Okay. In our country, in India, the percent of or the role of government sector is 27%, and remaining private sector role is 60 sorry 73%. And we can also see Iceland. In Iceland, the role of government is 57% and the role of private sector is 43%. Okay, this is examples for mixed economy. I hope you all understand. So I will take next concept, that is very simple concept. We try to differentiate between micro and macroeconomics. Difference between micro and macroeconomics. Difference between micro and macroeconomics. Okay. So, dear students, this question is just for 4 marks. Okay. The same answer will be written for 2 questions. One is explain the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Explain the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Or they also say explain how the macroeconomics is macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is different than microeconomics. Macroeconomics is different than microeconomics. Okay. So we make a 2 part. One is micro and another one is macro. Microeconomics and Macroeconomics. Okay. So here we write in which form they are different. Okay. So first, scope. In case of scope, the microeconomics has narrow scope, and the macroeconomics has wider scope. It is macroscope, wider scope. Okay, why it is called narrow scope and why it is called wider scope? Because the macroeconomic studies only a single part of the economy. That's why it is called narrow scope. It only study a partial part, a single part of the economy. That is called narrow scope. But the macroeconomic studies entire unit as a whole. That's why we called it as wider scope. That is first one. And second one is method of study. Okay, so under this microeconomics and macroeconomics, we study the method of study. Okay, see, in microeconomics, we study the individual units. We study individual units separately. That is individual part of the economy. Okay, here we study entire part of the economy as a single unit. Okay, we call it as, this method is known as slicing method. That is, we study single part. Okay, so this method is called as lumping method. Okay, this is the second one. This is lumping method. Okay, the third one is economic agents. Okay, also economic agents are economic decision makers. We can call it as economic decision makers. Okay, in microeconomics, the individual, consumer, and individual producer. Producers are decision makers or economic agents. Okay, but in macroeconomics, all consumers, producers, government are the economic agents in the country. Okay, so the first three. Okay, the next, I will erase here. The next one is equilibrium. Okay, the microeconomics study the partial equilibrium, or we can also say equilibrium of individual. Okay, or we can also say it gave partial picture, partial equilibrium, partial. Okay, but macroeconomics study the equilibrium of an economy. Call it as partial general equilibrium. Okay, so The equilibrium is study the equilibrium of an individual. How the individual, that is individual consumer or producer, achieve equilibrium. And that's why it is called partial equilibrium. And in macroeconomics it is it study complete equilibrium of an economy. That's why it is called general equilibrium. Okay, last is domain. Domain. Okay, so it studies consumer theories, cost analysis. Okay, consumer theory, cost analysis, production analysis, market equilibrium, etc. Okay, that is concepts. Which are the concepts or areas which are covered by macroeconomics? And the same thing, macroeconomics, it covers investment theory, investment, money and banking, unemployment, poverty, then foreign exchange, etc. Okay. Then the last point. See, the development of macroeconomics, the contribution for development of macroeconomics goes to Alfred Marshall. That's why he's called the pioneer of macroeconomics. Is Alfred Marshall, and pioneer of macroeconomics is J.M. Keynes. Okay, J.M. Keynes. Okay, so we discussed the 6 points here. For 4 marks, you can at least you are at 5, any 5. Okay, so these are all the difference between micro and macroeconomics, and also we can write how the macroeconomics is different than microeconomics. The same answer you can write the same answer. Okay, so I hope you all understand the concept. If you have any doubts or any questions about the videos, just mention in the comment box. Thank you.